Good afternoon to you. It's Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. We're live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State. Also live on Facebook and on YouTube. And I want to welcome in for the December meeting here, the Erie County Executive, Brenton Davis. Good to see you, sir. How are you?
Good to see you.
You're growing your hunting beard. Did you go out this weekend?
That's what it is. I finally had a little bit of time to do some hunting. You know, it's amazing that some time has now found my leisure schedule. I'm really looking forward to it.
So catch anything, or did you? Yeah.
I mean, I spend a lot of my time kind of just helping some older folks that can't get around in the woods, and then just obviously like nieces, nephews, and like. It's more fun seeing the hunt. I mean, I've killed enough deer in my lifetime that it's more fun to kind of help the younger generation kind of get that spark and just live through their eyes. I mean, they're just 1,000-fold more excited about it, than a guy in his 40s. It's like, man, I've killed 30 deer or more or whatever it's been.
Understood. So, all right. So let's talk about How does one kind of wrap up a tenure at the courthouse? I mean, what's kind of occupying your days, I guess?
Well, I think that kind of just comes down to your own personal integrity. I mean, I'm trying to do things different than things were handed off to me. I mean, again, I've said it before. No matter who leads this community, which way they lean, no matter what their qualifications are or they aren't, you've got to support that person, because I mean, ultimately, I felt the negative sides of this, where you kind of just wish failure upon somebody. Yeah. We had a council that did nothing but try to stop economic development, tried to stop this, stop that, hold this up, play Paul. I mean, I hate to tell you, you can play games like homeless tiny houses and leases and any of these different municipal funds, but I didn't personally benefit from any of them.
Right.
I still have a house, but unfortunately there's people going into the cold where there's projects that are left undone. So I mean, you've got. So
you didn't see, like, even after the results of the election, you didn't see kind of a release of some of the things you were waiting on, as far as, like, let's say the permitting for the tiny houses or whatever.
Well, I mean, and you're not going to, now's not the time anyway. I mean, good luck trying to get that stuff done through the winter. I mean, things are just exponentially harder. It's what we say in the wintertime. We joke everything's tougher in Alaska. That's kind of how it is. But it's not that it can't be done. But, we just try to wrap up what we can wrap up. You close the loose ends. Your members of the administration start taking different jobs or retire or go to different opportunities. And, you kind of wind things down and give them a clean slate to kind of start whatever work it is that, they're going to prioritize. But, to me, the most important thing is not only setting these projects up for success, but really setting the taxpayers up for success. We're able to reduce this year's budget by $34 million. It's all these years ago, before the tax increase that everybody wants to lump you over the head. Well, the county executive doesn't unilaterally. It's just funny how, like, these folks on council will say, you unilaterally have the power to do all this stuff, when it's magically they want something done. But when it comes time for them to dig their heels in, well, you don't have the power for anything, and you can't even so much as use a napkin at the courthouse without council's approval. Yeah. So it's that double-edged sword, right? So, like, you can put the budget forward, but they get to cut it to hell. They get to do whatever they want, add whatever they want back to it. And unfortunately, my first budget that I had in 2022 for the 2023 budget, when the tax increase occurred, nobody wanted to cut anything. They fought me on vacant positions and all this other stuff. I think we've cut over 100 vacant positions now over the course of the last 2 years, the last two budgets. And, I mean, we were able to eliminate $34 million of spending. Now, mind you, they added a bunch of stuff back in, which I had to veto. You know, that stuff without a plan. It doesn't have I mean, like, we hear this all the time. You won't even let the county executive implement programming, and that's what you're elected to do, without X, Y, and Z and details to the nines. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, it's just funny how this council will allocate things without a plan, without any kind of numbers, no return on investment, and they just throw it in the budget by an action sheet and expect this to be carried. It's such a double standard. I mean, I'm really afraid for the taxpayers that, I mean, now that the Democratic regime is restored here, they have a super majority on a council. They have 5 Democrats, 2 Republicans, and a Democratic county executive. I mean, they're already trying to raise taxes, which, I mean, they're not going to get this one. I'm pretty confident that the vetoes will carry. And, you know, that's my parting gift for the taxpayers of Erie County is, you know, these last 3 consecutive budgets with no tax increase. You know, I mean, that's important. You can't raise taxes and then just add a bunch of fluff spending, feel-good type spending with no plan. It doesn't make any sense.
Talk about one of the things that I found interesting that really may have been one of the original sources of contention between your office and council was this concept of you have budgetary spending for different nonprofits and different agencies, but then some of those same agencies came back and asked for grants. Do I have that right? Do you remember?
I'm not quite sure of kind of what you're.
I mean, wasn't there like a whole sense, you know, an additional grant? You know, there was a lot of grants that were applied for that you kind of put a lot of kibosh to.
So here's the thing. So, I mean, how that worked is that's our gaming revenue. That's the casino gaming revenue.
Okay.
You know, and that gets split. Again, half goes to ECRA,
yep.
You know, which I still believe is an absolute and complete utter waste. And, you know, the other half goes to county government, which, I mean, it was a big political infight years ago. I mean, back in the Fiore Leone days, you know, when ECRA was created, I mean, they literally created it to screw each other out of being able to control the money. And I mean, so now you have not just one fight over the money, you have 2 or multiple. You know, so I mean, the model just doesn't work. And I mean, I have no horse in this race other than anybody else here in a month. So I mean, I still believe it's a flawed system. You know, 100% it's a flawed system. And I mean, again, I mean, the county executive, it's a pointless seat if you're not going to empower and be an executive strong form of government like, you know, my colleagues across the country are. You know, so I mean, if you want council to control everything, then you need to go back to a seat of 3 commissioners,
right,
and elect them by districts. And I mean, that'd be just fine too. You know, but I mean, kind of how this all started is this gaming revenue. Before I took office, it was kind of just utilized as like walking around money. I mean, kind of like you saw in these vetoes.
Well, wasn't a lot of it wrapped up in like long-term debt, like for the runway,
some of it's for like
the other stuff.
Some of those long-term debt payments, which we don't have that anymore.
Is that all burned off?
Other than just other than the community college. I mean, we pay $4 million every year to that. Mm-hmm. You know, so I mean, I sued in state court and said, like, how are we going to pay for this? And Dahlkemper stood right here in this show and said, oh, no, the taxpayers aren't going to have to pay for it. Well, you've been paying $4 million a year every year, and you're going to continue to. It's not going to get less expensive. But these grants, I mean, it was used like walking around money. I mean, you look at even what's in here. You got Andre Horton, who's trying to funnel money to yet again to his brother's community center with no plan. Like, come on. Like, this town is not stupid. You know, and I mean, they can call it whatever they want, you know, play political games, and it is what it is. But they utilize this stuff as walking around money to grease the skids. And I firmly, and I'll stand here and say it, to buy votes. You sprinkle money around town to corral your voter base. Like, look what we give you. Look what we give you. I mean, and I hate to say it, but the favor factory is alive and well come January 5th. 2026. You know, I mean, that's the reality of what you'll see. I mean, like the municipal gap funding and all those things. We took that money that was really walking around money for, you know, the Horton who's who and their brothers and whoever else they wanted to buy votes from, And we turned around and we gave it back to taxpayers. Things like funding EMS so your family has an ambulance when and where you need it. It's things like the municipal gap funding to ensure that taxpayers across the entire county benefited from this casino gaming revenue, not just the city of Erie and the selected who's who that aren't favored by ECRA and the powers that be, and that aren't favored by any particular council member that can put their votes together and throw money without a plan. We saw it. If there's no plan, you can't prove it based on data, and it's this double standard that this council has had for the last 2 years. They want to say, well, where's this and where's the plan? And listen, they only want to say that when it's an administration idea coming downstairs, but again, you look at this homeless stuff and what we've done with the tiny houses. That was kind of an Andre Horton idea to give $2 million to ECCM with absolutely no plan. And we had to get involved, and look what we did. We did the Resilience Center. We did the tiny homes. That was all stuff the administration does. That's how this works. The council allocates buckets, but it's up to the administration to administer. And this council just hasn't grasped the fact that they have no power to administer. That's not what you're there for. You're there to vote on things, vote on the budget line items, add to this, take that away. If it survives the veto, it becomes the budget. And then after that, your hands are kind of off. You're not there to run the day-to-day. And that's really where they confuse. I think they talk to too many commissioners across Pennsylvania that are Democratic minority commissioners. And they say, well, this is how you need to do this. Well, we're one of 4 counties that have this style of government, and no other council members do this to the executives and other, and I think maybe you'll see a change. Who knows? Maybe they're going to deal more in as a cohort. They want to co-govern. That's dangerous in itself. When you don't have checks and balances. But I think we've done what we could do for the taxpayers of Erie County. I'm not going anywhere. To me, at the end of the day, we're going to still be vocal, and we're still going to call out the BS as we see it. They're not going to have any backroom deals. they're not getting a free pass. 2026, 4 years goes by quickly. You know what I mean? And this next term for Vogel, that will also go by quickly. It's not going to come easy. And I think the pressure is really on them to perform. You have absolutely no excuse to be getting stuff done left, right, and center consistently. And if you don't, who do you blame? Yeah. We've been able to accomplish what we have, and we've moved the meter. I'll stand here and say it. My administration's done more than the last 3 or 4 administrations in terms of getting stuff done and getting investments out across the county. So you take all that progress combined, and we had to fight for every inch that we got. And we still, laid miles and miles of road. So
I want to talk about some of those results there, but we got to take our first break. The county executive is with us here, 421 Talk Erie. Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show. We've got the county executive with us, Brenton Davis. It's his December meeting, and actually the final meeting in this capacity, Brent. And I want to kind of do a little bit of kind of a retrospective and, think back to those first 12 months. Again, when you think about entering the courthouse, what was that? 2022 at this point, right?
January 3rd of 22.
Yeah. Anything that strikes you of like, man, because I remember you saying, there's quite a learning curve that goes with that job.
Yeah. I mean, I've said this before. I mean, and keep in mind, I had studied county government. Yeah. I mean, I ran once before, prepared a year prior to that. So, I had 5 or 6 years plus all that time attending council meetings, going to different authority meetings, watching the videos, having the conversations, just really getting to know the nuts and bolts of county government, sitting down, learning what's what, getting a master's degree in economic development, and not just an education here locally. I built bridges with County Executive P.J. Wendell in Chautauqua County. I went to the CCAPs before I was elected. That's our state functions. Mm-hmm. Rich Fitzgerald was the executive down in Allegheny County. At the time, the Cuyahoga County executive. I went and spent time with these folks in other counties, like building social capital, learning what it means to govern as an executive. And I did this before I was even elected. So I had that experience. I had the relationships with Crawford, Warren, Mercer. I sat down with all these folks, spent days at their courthouse, touring their facilities, looking at like what it means to be, to govern at a county level, to really understand it and understand how things are funded. And I still feel when that door closes behind you, you're like, kind of like, oh crap, like this is real. Yeah. What do I do? And unfortunately, the Vogel administration just doesn't have that experience. And I know what it was like for me, having higher level military experience. I oversaw 3 states in the Army Reserves prior to, being an ROTC professor. But
she is a businesswoman.
It's still not the same thing. You can't compare running a small business to government. It's not even remotely the same thing. And anybody that says that has absolutely no idea what they're talking about. Like there's a huge difference between running a pizza business or even multiple locations where you can say we're spending X on pizza shells, X on boxes, our utilities are high. You're the master and commander of all that.
Right.
You don't have somebody coming along ripping your budget and saying, well, hey, like we think you're going to only make 800 pizzas this month, but you only get 500 boxes, 300 shells, and 2 cans of pizza sauce. And oh, by the way, good luck. And we're cutting these 6 positions for, and that's the reality of what county government is. Yeah. It's not, as a small business owner, I still did that part-time nights and weekends. You can run a small business a lot of times standing on your head if you're good at what you do. But it doesn't have the same challenges. Don't get me wrong, running a small business can be challenging.
Absolutely.
And you've got to find your way through those challenges. But it is definitely not the same thing when politics and people and agendas, and it's not just 1 or 6 or 7. It's not just the 7 members on county council or their solicitor or whatever it is. It's potentially any group of people out of 286,000 residents, or even like we saw, a governor or federal PACs or any of these folks that want to swing a baseball bat in preparation for other elections.
Yeah.
This job is not simple. It is not easy. And there's no manual to tell you how to deal with those challenges.
I'm surprised that, when you entered office in 23, Mayor Schember had been there 4 years at City Hall. Mm-hmm. What surprises me, and I only have about 2 minutes here, but is that there was not more coordination with City Hall.
Well, I can tell you. I reached out to him within the first 3 weeks of being in office.
Yeah.
I said, hey, let me take you to lunch at the Erie Club. And, him and I had a conversation. I said, Mayor, these are my priorities. This is what I want to work on. This is what we have in terms of American Rescue Plan money. I said, can you send me where your investments are, and let's see where we can leverage our ARPA dollars together collectively. And then I asked him, I said, what are your priorities? I mean, I'm thinking like, the curtain's about to be pulled, the sun's about to shine, and you're going to have like the old rabbi kind of say, hey man, this is kind of how we can get some stuff done. Well, the sun never shined, the curtain never opened, and he looked right at me. He says, well, I don't really know, and I'll have to talk to my people and get back to you. Mm-hmm. And in that moment, I knew. And it never changed. It never changed. In any of these meetings, I like Joe, nice enough guy. But I mean, we have to be honest. I've said this.
You remember
time and time
the whole
again.
Joyce and Judy, show, where there was coordination between the county and the city.
Well, I mean, I don't remember.
But that's 30 years ago.
I was probably like 10 or 8
right,
or 7 or something.
True.
But
yeah.
I mean, I had and have those relationships with all these counties, not just regionally, but across the country. I have relationships with every mayor in Erie County and mayors outside of Erie County, clear down to Tito Brown in Youngstown and other places. But
you're talking about township supervisors.
No, I'm talking about mayors.
Oh, okay.
In Youngstown, Ohio.
In every county,
I mean, like the
wow.
different, but I mean, even all the township supervisors and all the municipalities. And to me, like you as a leader have to know. Are you talking to a wall? Are you going to get something done here? And you have to make decisions like a quarterback in the pocket. Like you don't force a bad pass if you see the opportunity to run, and that's what you got to do. It's unfortunate, but we did what we did.
County Executive is with us here. News is next on Talk Erie. back at it here at 4:34. It's the Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show, live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here, also live on YouTube and Facebook. The County Executive, Brenton Davis, is with us here for his December meeting, and we're kind of doing a bit of a retrospective and having him weigh in on these things. County Executive, one of the things that was kind of the, a tough thing that I had heard from multiple sources is that they didn't, folks on council and other folks did not have access to department heads. What was the thinking on that?
I mean, think about it. So, I mean, you've got, again, political agendas.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's a division. So think about this. You almost have to look at this, and you hate to say it, but like opposing teams, right? I mean, that's like the coach of the Browns, going to the coach of the Steelers saying, well, why can't I talk to your defensive coordinator? Why can't I talk to this? Why can't I talk to that?
I don't understand why we were opposing teams, though.
But here's the thing. That's checks and balances of government. But then look at how every budget has went down, even now. I mean, listen, when you got folks that are fundraising against you, backdooring you in the community, playing their agendas, and I mean, honestly, I'll tell you flat out what stopped the communication early on was Councilman Horton going to our IT director and demanding that our IT director turn over his colleagues' emails to him. He wanted to know what his colleagues on council were emailing and who. He wanted a full report on their emails. Went straight to my guy off to the side and said, hey, I want all their emails. Are you kidding me? And I mean, and that was really the straw that broke the camel's back. I mean, one, it's not legal. But two, all those requests should come through the administration. Like, you can only serve one pipeline of leadership. If you want something, you come through the door. The door is at county council and the administration. We work together. You want something, I get it. You want something, the administration gets it. I mean, to me, especially when you've got folks that play underhanded politics and do grimy stuff like that could potentially put the taxpayers into a lawsuit, I mean, all those members of council have a certain expectation of privacy, or at least do a right to know request and ask for the information specifically. So, I mean, things aren't as hunky-dory as you expect them to be because, I mean, these folks, I mean, they'll play games against each other and backdoor each other, and it's been like that since the beginning of time. So, again, I did that, I think, more so to protect our people from, oh, so-and-so told me to do this. Well, now you're out of a job because you did the wrong thing, or you're just putting them in a bad political position. Like, those folks are appointed to do a job and work for the people of Erie County. They're not there to suit up and get in the political arena. That's not what they're there for. And to me, once that happened with the emails and kind of all the games that these folks have played, and like I said, I mean, I don't care. I'll throw them under all 18 wheels of the bus because the taxpayers deserve to know the reality and what will continue. But I mean, to me, you can't, as a council member, try to get people's emails. You know what I mean? That'd be like me utilizing my IT director and say, hey, listen, tell me what's in Council Horton's emails. I've never once done such a thing. You know what I mean? Like, even though you have the power to do it, you don't. I mean, it's right is right and wrong is wrong. So, I mean, when you got folks peddling that kind of thing, like, you have to insulate your people. Because, I mean, that's how misunderstandings take place. They take the wrong set of orders, and now here it is. Here we are. It's
interesting. We had Dr. Bloodworth on yesterday, and we were talking about just what happened with the municipal election. And it basically he kind of agreed with what you said last month of, like, if you had an R next to your name,
you're done.
It was a tough night.
I mean, that was across the country. I mean, I don't take it personal.
Right. Yeah.
I don't take it personal. I mean, again, it's political agendas. I mean, when you shut off food stamps, I mean, even look at how our own governor has walked back. He's saying, oh, well, this is abysmal. President Trump, SNAP benefits being shut off. And then 4 days later after the election, or 3 days later, he says, I can't believe Democrats didn't hold the line. Well, you're so full of shit. Yeah. I mean, that's what our governor is. I hate to tell you. I mean, it's all political jockeying, and let the FCC find me. I don't care.
Well, it wouldn't be you. But apologize for that. what my point with Dr. Bloodworth was that you had a lot of accomplishments in these 4 years, and I want to give you a chance to talk about it. But let's start with some of the folks that you brought on your administration. Any folks that you want to kind of say, boy, this guy did a great job.
Every single one of them. I mean, it's the people that hold the line from top to bottom. I mean, I brought in Doug Smith early on to help me learn the ropes of county council and how to maneuver there, and we did well doing that. And then I brought in Mayor Joe Sinnott, a Democrat. The vast majority of my cabinet is Democrats. I never made a political appointment. It was about who had the skill set to do what we need them to do. That's really what this is about governance. We brought in Jessica Horan, director of planning. She was a former Democrat on city council. We've got a whole slew of folks that, serve and do very, very well. But to me, it goes down to the lowest level. It's our folks at the prison, working the endless shifts and the forced overtime and the telecommunicators at 911. It's all these different things. Our public health workers during the COVID crisis. Talk about burnout. It was just, you can't pay what the private sector can pay because we pay incredibly well in benefits. Right. And that's for people like, I wouldn't work for $18 an hour. Well, yeah, if you look at what the benefits package is worth, on average, every single county employee costs you about $100,000 a year. That's across the board with pensions, benefits, and things of that nature. So when you want to elevate the pay, it kind of makes it difficult because the more you crank up that dial, exponentially gets more expensive on the other end. So to me, I couldn't sit here and thank everybody that made this possible, from the campaign side to the governance side, the every single person. It's the unsung people that, do what we need them to do, day in and day out. Our OCY workers. That's an incredibly difficult job to go and see the types of situations, horrendous living conditions and, abuse and neglect and all the different things, and the parents that they have to deal with. And we get folks that get lumped up every once in a while, and it's those folks that are in the trenches, and that's why I've really tried to keep them out of the politics of it all. So, I can't thank, every single person, whether they're a part of the appointed administration or just people that have been through 5 or 6 administrations that bring that institutional knowledge. I'm glad that, a lot of those folks I think are going to stay on. And, the county is better for it, and that's why that's always been my marching orders, that they stay out of the politics. That's why we kept them out of the media. They didn't do media interviews. They didn't deal with county council. I wanted them to focus on the mission at hand and be free from, having their hands and ankles tied, essentially, and put in front of a firing squad. That's just not what they're there for.
Talk about some of the projects that you would feel were highlights of these past 4 years. I think about things like Project Resolve, at Barron there, along with GE, and also certainly Neptune. And boy, that's a beautiful place down there.
Yeah, they're still
clear.
They're still suing over it, but yeah. You look at all these different things, and I think people in the long run are gonna see the fact and truth and reality of what we were fighting for. What I came here to do. I always said at my heart, I'm gonna win one term, and I did. And I always said from the very beginning is I am going to make the best decisions, not what is best necessarily for re-election. You've got to make the hard choices. You've got to reduce the budget. You've got to make historic investments in these things. And we've done that. So, that lifeblood is there. That's something that can't be stopped now. It's things like working with the homeless and turning the work release building into a shelter for the homeless. It's Project Resolve, Project Neptune. It's the workforce development program, Allied Health at the community college for our healthcare workers, and really expanding what's available, because that is a burnout system, and it was incredibly burnout post-COVID, but it's not much better. They struggle for employees.
Yeah. Do you feel like that might have been one of your biggest learnings, is to see what the potential of that community college could be?
No, I mean, it's what I was fighting for. And I think that was kind of what, I mean, you get labeled with things in politics. Like, I mean, a lot of it's crap.
I mean, your profile on Facebook was no community college.
And 100%. And you know what changed that? Was getting control of the mechanism and making it be something that it was meant to be, a workforce development machine. But when you have folks like Councilman Horton, yet again, talking publicly about, well, I just want to lay back on my neck. And I sat in a county council meeting and I listened to him verbatim, and I'll never forget it. If I want to retire and I want to lay back on my neck and take pottery classes at the community college, I should be able to. And if that's the mindset of what people think a community college is, and these are the folks that make the funding decisions, that's alarming. You know, I mean, it's completely uneducated. It's obtuse. And, you know, to me, it was a matter of really just making sure that the appropriate investments were made, partnering with the right people, but bringing other partners for those public-private partnerships to the table so you have workforce development, but you put the steering mechanisms in the hands of the private sector and those that actually create the jobs. And then in turn, we had a one-time investment, and then you have the community college that's funded by the different health systems that, I mean, that's an $8 million return. So for $2 million of ARPA money, we have an $8 million return per every graduating class moving forward. I mean, that's an incredible return on investment. And it puts the hands. It's things like the LTT building, the welding school that's going to be up and running first quarter of 26, 21st or second quarter of 26 here. You know, it's the welding, the allied health, it's those partnerships down in Corey. It's all those things to be able to take those workforce development mechanisms and really benefit the your local employers, your taxpayers. You know, that's really what it's about, the next generation.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, to me, I wasn't opposed to the idea of a community college, but when you have like Philadelphia Community College is like 90 million plus in debt, Harrisburg Community College in debt. Like you look at all these community colleges across Pennsylvania,
kind of the old
it's
school
the
model,
old guard.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like,
what do you think the biggest threats to Erie County are as you leave office? I mean, I don't mean politically. I mean as a metropolitan area, as a workforce, as an economy. What are our biggest threats?
Well, I mean, I think I mean, we saw it very clear. I mean, in economic development, we call it NIMBY. Not in my backyard. You know, we saw it with the library. We saw it with the Fairview Business Park. We saw it a little bit with the McCain Business Park. You know, Kathy saw that with the Inland Port and the John Elliott's. And like, if this area doesn't pull its head out and get serious, I mean, I can tell you, I mean, I've been headhunted from all over the country. I'm not even out of office. And I've got headhunters, I've got governments reaching out that are like, hey, we're X county. These are our problems. Are you interested in coming out here?
That's kind of like a county manager, or
it's like it's a hired county manager making 3 times what you make here.
Yeah.
But I mean, to me, that just goes to show that, like, obviously the profile that I've been able to build, you know, it put us on a different stage. We're known clear across the country. The White House, they take my phone call. You know, I mean, that is political capital and social capital that you can't buy. You have to develop it. You know, but I mean, I think the biggest threats are if we don't recognize that we can't fight every single idea that comes into this town. There are communities out here where if you leave Erie and go
We've been doing that for
decades,
centuries.
Literal, yeah.
I mean, Dr. Lynch was here talking about the missed opportunities in the 18 and 1900s. Unreal.
And to me, is like, go in any direction. I mean, literally, if you go 45 minutes down any interstate, east-west on 90, up 86, or down 79, you only got to go about 45 miles before you start seeing progress. I mean, think about that. I mean, where they're more serious about investments, the different corridors across I-80, down into Pittsburgh, up into Buffalo, and that's even the communist state of New York. You know, you go west, I mean, you go west into Ohio, I mean, they're just absolutely killing the game. And they have different funding mechanisms and things of that nature that just make them, you know, 1,000-fold more successful. I mean, what would take us 100 years, they're going to do in 5.
I don't see. I'm trying to understand where we're identifying the. I mean, NIMBY was very clear at Fairview Business Park. There's no doubt about that, right? You know, that piece of land there.
But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where it is, right? Because like even though you moved it a little bit, so here's the challenge, right? So yeah, okay, the so-called like 25 or 50 people that were around that won. No, they didn't. Because the other 286,000 residents that could be collecting tax revenue, having the businesses, attracting it. And now, mind you, there was water, gas, sewer, all of those things right there in the ground. We would have clear span buildings and we would have businesses here. Had unfortunately, council had the intestinal fortitude to continue forward with that project and represent the entire county instead of 50 angry citizens. I mean, that's the reality. So now here we have McCain.
So is this a leadership failure?
Oh, 100%. You know, I mean, you have to have the political courage to press forward. You're not going to make everybody happy. You're just not going to. And then we move the business park to McCain, and the guy that owns a campground across the street is livid that his campers aren't going to want to stare at buildings either. So no matter what you do, it's all about mitigated risk. And the benefit is we had to pay for that ground. So that was $3.2 million that we could have put straight into buildings and infrastructure, plus the $4 million that Mike Kelly's delivered, plus whatever we could have gotten out of Senator McCormick. We already would have had tax-paying buildings that would have lowered their taxes, created jobs, created opportunities. Well, now we need $8 million or whatever the current bill is to get water.
Just get the water
out there.
Is it up to $8 million now?
Like 7-8 million. So you get the water out there, right? And then now you're not even talking roads, infrastructure on site.
You haven't built a
stormwater.
sewer.
You haven't built a single thing. So I mean, you're $11 million in. We could have completed a business park, had it turnkey, and it could have financed one after the next, after the next, after the next, like all these other communities are doing. This isn't rocket science. I mean, there's a reason why I'm getting calls all across the country to say, hey, bring that tenacity here. This is what we need.
Let me ask you, that's a good segue to talk about what your next play is. You have pretty deep roots around here. Are you know, and of course you've not really skipped a beat so much on your construction business.
No, I mean, I'm still working. You know what I mean? I'm still working. I got my work boots on.
I mean, I met you were bringing on people that were coming out of prison.
Yep.
You were educating them, getting them on the construction line. What's next for Brenton Davis?
I mean, like I said, I've got a lot of opportunities in front of me. I mean, my focus right now is really just finishing the job I started. You know, I mean, the taxpayers have me until January 5th, until the new executive is sworn in. I think you have to see that through. I mean, number one, there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different things in motion. There's a lot of projects that I think that, you know, I'm still going to work on behind the scenes. I mean, I've already got community partners that we've helped get things rolling. I mean, I'll be there as an advisor to those things and still be able to pick up the phone and use my contacts to make sure that we get the funding and call the senators, call the Congress people, call the White House, whatever it is that they need. You know, they've still got a friend in me, no matter where I'm at and what my next choice and next decision is. I mean, I'm just shocked at the level of interest without really having to even think about it. You know, I mean, I get these calls. I'm like, wait, what? Yeah. Like, I'm not even done yet, man. You know, and I mean, they want you to jump on a plane and come visit and, you know, dangle the money carrot and all the benefits. And I mean, yeah, it could be exciting, but, you know, I've got a lot of ties here, you know, and I've got a lot of opportunities in terms of like consulting that I'm already doing for other communities across the country. You know, so a lot of them, it's about, you know, like most county commissioners don't have the knowledge don't have the construction background, the government background, the economic development background to put the triad together to connect the dots in such a way and then convene the conversations to get it done. So, I mean, I think a lot of them is just, they just need the help with the roadmap.
Right.
So, I mean, there's a lot of different counties that have expressed interest in needing help with different projects and how to like get their county out of the doldrums. And they saw what we've been able to do up here in 4 years. And I mean, they're willing to pay to get that done. So, I mean, again, I see myself staying involved in different capacities. You know, obviously we've done a lot of work and we want to see these things get done.
I've got less than a minute with the county executive. I'm going to throw out maybe the highlight of your tenure was where you were a year ago today, and that was kind of mounting this snow removal.
Oh,
this
I was like, where was I a year ago today?
you were at the county the emergency operations center.
So I mean, yeah,
with the Secretary of Transportation.
100%. I mean, I think that's part of what gave the national spotlight to some of this stuff.
I mean, I still am remembering that grader, that PennDOT highway grader going across my street in the city, tearing it up.
We get stuff done.
Getting it done.
That's what county government's about, you know, and that's part of, you know, what I'm offering these counties. I mean, if they have a disaster, they've got something that, you know, when it hits the fan, they've got a 911 number to call. You need an experienced hand. I'll get on a plane and I'll bring some folks with me. And, I mean, it's services. It really showed me what counties need across the country. And so to me, I see a new business model and some contracts that are already coming to fruition. So like I said, I'm never going to be far away, you know, so we'll continue doing the work. And I appreciate really everybody that supported me in this endeavor from the very beginning as a crazy wild-eyed carpenter at 32 years old that said it couldn't be done. And we flipped a 25-year political dynasty, you know, so thanks to all those folks that donated and knocked doors and really just were in the trenches with me this entire time. You know, none of this would be possible without them. So I just, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate every single one of them.
We appreciate you, your candor, and taking the time to come here every month, and at one point more than that. And we just appreciate that. You know, we're very, very grateful, Brent.
Glad to be here.
All right, let's wrap it up here. 4:57, Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show.